tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You hear some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to
Good evening, Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
Well, what do you know? What do you know? Good evening. Welcome, 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 one and all. It is Friday, November 21st, and it's now, another episode of Sabrina Speaks. And good morning to our global family. It is good to be here with you for Sabrina Speaks, because we're voices of the islands, conversations for the world, and the podcast where voices rise, stories unfold, and inspiration takes center stage. I'm your host, Sabrina, and it's good to be back with you. Oh my gosh, but it's for some reason, I'm just so happy. I am just so happy that it's Friday. It's this week has been a lot. It's like, oof. It's been a heck of a week. And I'm hoping that you are looking forward to it if you're not tired from I got to go into this week early of Black Friday shopping here. I'm going to get into that. But you know what? Just bask in the moment. Happy Friday. We've made it. We're here. We're embracing the beginning of a weekend and definitely feeling the spirit. I'm hearing it in people's voices. But you know, I'm happy to be back with you here this evening because the content you're about to hear, including any discussions or opinions from myself, guests, and or participants, is intended solely for general informational and entertainment purposes. It's not a substitute for professional legal, medical, or financial advice. So I encourage you to consult with a qualified professional for your specific concerns. Bridge Media Limited and all its affiliates disclaims all liability for any decisions or actions taken in reliance on the information presented. And please don't forget to follow, like, share, or subscribe so that you don't miss an episode. And yes, I'm seeing you new followers. You're appreciated. Thank you so much. Now, as we head into the weekend, I know lots are going on over there in the sister islands this weekend. And I know you got to make plans because all of y'all really like to just be out and about trying to get in on these early sales. I'm going there. Lots going on. Parliament resumed. The finance committee ended. And I'm hearing there's even some relief in persons going overseas to shop for the holidays and coming back. Yeah, you're going to be able to take advantage. So I got all of that, including the press release from the government that has been released. If you missed it, yeah, it's gone now from 500 to 1,000. But I got you covered. I got you covered there. Let's just cover the weather so you know how to prepare to go out. You swear to Christ we were going out in snow. But you know what? We don't want you to get wet because I got a number of my friends that are just fighting the flu. And oh my God, it's bad. I got a little bit on that too. But, compliments and thank you to the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. The weekend forecast and a synopsis calls for a weak surface trough that is expected to drift across the Northwest Caribbean tonight, bringing a slight chance for some isolated showers through Saturday evening. Now, the ridging from a high pressure system in the Western Atlantic will continue to maintain moderate to locally fresh winds, which we all love, and seas through the next few days. Now, satellite analysis indicates scattered patches of low-level clouds streaming across the Cayman area with some isolated convection noted further south. Now, tonight's forecast calls for mainly clear skies with cloudy spells and a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will fall to the upper 70s, and winds will be east to northeast 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts, mainly across the sister islands. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Now, you want to know what tomorrow brings? Because I know y'all gonna be out there shopping. Tomorrow calls for partly cloudy skies with cloudy spells and 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise to the upper 80s with a heat index of 96. Even though it's getting cooler, you got to hydrate with the right stuff. I'm talking water, not Sabrina's hydrate, but with water, guys. Winds will be east to northeast 10 to 15 knots with higher gust, and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Now, today's tides call for a low tide that was at 4:39 this afternoon, and a high tide is expected for 9:10 this evening. Tomorrow, the low tide will be at 3:57 a.m. and a high tide at 11:23 a.m. Sunset this evening will be at 5:44, and sunrise tomorrow morning will be at 6:38. And if you want to plan that surprise dinner, hopefully you can get in the sunset tomorrow evening. Sun is expected to set again at 5:44 tomorrow. Yeah, just because nice dinners or sunset evenings here in the beautiful Cayman Islands, nothing beats it. Outlook is for generally fair conditions to prevail from Sunday as those aforementioned troughs moves away from the Cayman area towards the Bay of Honduras. Moderate to local fresh winds and seas are likely to persist as a ridge dominating pattern lingers through the weekend. So there you have it. I hope that makes you be able to plan a little better. But overall, I think it's typical, right? Beautiful weather, excellent time of the year to just go out, mingle, meet people, however you want to do it. But yeah, just do what you got to do. Let's say happy birthday shout outs. I'm not going to miss these two. To Diane Connolly. Happy birthday, Diane. I see you there, girl. You're looking good. Marshall, that's our Diane. And also to Seymour Morgan. I wonder what Jack is doing for you this weekend. Oh, yeah, Jack from CMB. Love of her life. Seymour Morgan is celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday to you all on your special day, and hoping that this weekend it continues and the rest of the month it continues to bring everyone who celebrates birthdays in the month of November. Let's see. Marshall, you're the first to comment today. How are you? Hope you're looking forward to the weekend and you're keeping nice and warm over there. Connie Bonnie, I got to meet you somewhere next week or maybe this weekend if you're out and about. Let me know. I'll message you offline. All right. Yes, happy Friday to you. Much, much more. That's how we try to keep it, my love. Happy weekend to you as well, Damian Henry. Hope you all are not out there spending what you got, what you don't have. Remember, the mortgage still has to be paid. So does the light. Those deals may look good, but the responsibilities remain the same. But it's good to have you all here with me this evening as we wind down this week. And I'm definitely looking forward to it. And as I prepare, yes, be real, got to prepare for the new week and what's ahead. But at the end of the day, lots were going on this weekend. Okay, Connie, lots went on this week. It's emotive to say the least. Lots of information, lots of stuff to absorb. Yeah. So for all of you who are commenting, it's a pleasure to have you. 936-8255 is the number to call and participate in our discussions. It doesn't feel as lonely when we actually get one or two calls, even though all of you guys commenting online helps as well. Didn't I tell you I was just 21? You can keep in the land of Lala all you want. I know you feeling those aches and those pains, and where you are, that weather, you sees up more than me. That true. I get note and I shake in the leg. Oh yeah, even when it hurts. That's what we got doctors for. Even when you got to call them privately. I ain't going down without a fight, Marshall. Let me say to all of those, I know I got a lot of persons who really are huge supporters of Sabrina Speaks, but they're also under the weather. And we want to keep them in our thoughts and prayers because, we just love them here. And Tisha, Monica, you're getting over yours. Tisha, I hope you feel better, my sweet. Yes, I had to do that. Hope you guys feel so much better. But I've been hearing that a lot of persons are coming down with a hell of a respiratory, whatever it is going on, that it's a lingering cough, like you can barely catch your breath. And then, we're maybe preparing for the holiday seasons out and everything. And, but health officials worldwide are actually warning us to pay attention. Not just because we're going to be out shopping and making sure we get all of those checklists, but also for a health standpoint. And I don't know if you all have been, this is not fear-mongering. This is not to campaign to, which is safe for anybody with any low immune systems and compromised immune systems. It's in your best interest, to get these flu shots, but to each his own. Consult with your physician to see what's best for you. But there is a new strain of flu that has been reported internationally. And right here in the Caribbean, we have seen breaking news and headlines. Barbados has seen a rise as well in COVID-19 cases. And, it started from, I would say, mid-month when they reported, this are all of our persons in the medical industry, reported a new mutation of influenza known as the H3N2 subclade K. I don't know where the hell they get these things from, but yeah, it's the H3N2. And this strain has already caused, again, good old Japan, causing surges in Japan. Also, they're seeing increases also in the UK and Canada. And it is now making its way into the United States. So because it may spread faster than it hit harder than usual this flu season, we're seeing where persons already amongst us not linking it to this particular strain. But what I've been hearing from friends and persons who have been hit hard by whatever this is, they're saying, wow, this one is hard. But here's the key. Even if you're pro-vax, anti-vax, whatever the case may be. I'm seeing some of your comments here. The vaccine we know isn't perfect, but it still helps reduce severe illnesses and hospitalization. And especially if you're immunocompromised or you have other underlying condition. And prevention is still our best defense. Now, you've noticed that it appears to have started earlier this year. And amongst everything that's happening around us, there have been about 19 to 20 cases alongside the respiratory conditions that people are experiencing. So, but looking at what Barbados is doing, because they're celebrating their independence right now. They did Cara Festa, and they had so much other things happening there that their tourism went through the roof. Good for them. Their chief medical officer has said that there are no plans, of course, to bring back mandatory mask wearing. But the Ministry of Health over there in Barbados is still urging elderly and those with weak immune systems to definitely take extra precaution. That's how bad the COVID cases are over there. And this just shows us how even as restrictions ease or have eased and we have just gone with life, that the virus is still circulating, don't care what strain it is, and whether it's COVID or not. We're seeing where these are hitting people even harder. So pretty much the big picture is what we're seeing is can almost be called a triple challenge, because you got the regular flu, then you got COVID, and then you got what they call RSV, which is this respiratory long-term impacts on your respiratory system. Like you can't even catch your breath and you're constantly coughing, or it feels like needles and stuff like that. And it feels like you're suffocating. But for us here in Cayman, even though public health hasn't really sounded the alarms as yet, let's get ahead of it, because it's already out in the public's domain. We see now with all of the travel and how easy it is for people to spread it easily. We can just make sure that we start doing what we have to do to be responsible a little earlier. But most importantly, the key is don't ignore any symptoms. And if you know you're immunocompromised or you have underlying conditions with diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, whatever, to make sure you do the right thing. Wash your hands, that good stuff, that never goes away. And as Melita, hey, how you doing? Good evening to you. It's good to have you all the time. Yes, and as Melita is recommending vitamin C and zinc season. You're quite right. Yeah, but we can't say that it hasn't made its way and made its debut very early. It has, Melita. So as we're out there enjoying and taking part in all of these early Black Friday, I can't believe it. We're doing this a week early. When we get our gifts, please remember this new strain of flu is not a fluke. It is a fact. And we just want to make sure when we're out there hustling and bussing and rubbing shoulders, trying to get that big screen TV or the latest, whatever it is you're out there fighting for to get some of the best prices, to just make sure that you stay disciplined and you practice good hand hygiene. And God forbid, if you got a cough that sounds like it's coming from your toe, you got a fever, for God's sake, stay home. Unless you're out in open air or something like that. But yeah, just think of other people. Please, 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 please. I beg you. Just think about somebody else. And what damage you could be doing if you don't have to go out. And for all of those persons who are being responsible when they deal with this, thank you. Thank you for doing the right thing. Now, I know you've seen the headlines, and plenty of you probably call Cayman Airways now to find out how much points you have to see how you can get those fares if you weren't proactive and took advantage of those easy fares, those cheaper fares to go overseas. Because for all of those, Melita, what you say? Stay yard and listen to Mal Road and Sabrina Speaks. No, some of them gotta get them deals though, Melita. Oh my God. Because I saw some videos last night. I was like, is this old footage? But then I realized, no, this took place at A.L. Thompson's last night from 8 until midnight. I was like, huh? Yeah, that was interesting. But hey, for all who likes that, kudos to you. But let's keep it real now, so that for those of you who may have missed it or may not have seen Sandra with the breaking news on the CMR platform, there is the media press release that is saying from November 29th to January 11th, Caymanians returning by air will enjoy, and this is a synopsis of what is there actually, Caymanians returning by air will enjoy $1,000 CI duty-free allowance. So that's doubled from what we're usually of having a duty allowance per person of $500. So it's now going to be $1,000. And the key word here is by air. This is not cargo. This is by air. Okay. So I don't want you to say, oh, I thought it was this, I thought it was that. No, it is for anyone who is traveling overseas and is coming back by air. So if you're going to pay for extra baggage, do it. But it's not for shipping stuff. Okay. So this is good news for travelers who want to stretch their holiday budget. but it also can, raise some questions about how local businesses could be impacted. You know me, I'm just about keeping it balanced here, guys. But I'd love to hear from you. Will this challenge your holiday? Will this change or challenge your holiday shopping plans? Or will you buy more overseas? Or just do you prefer to support local stores, hoping that whatever concessions they're getting will be passed on to you? But in short form, based on what I'm seeing here from this duty-free allowance, like I said, normally in Cayman, when we return, it's $500 that you get worth of goods that are duty-free. But during this particular period that is starting from the 29th, which means officially in the United States, you can get serious Black Friday specials, but it looks as though everybody is starting it early this year. During this holiday period, that allowance has increased to $1,000. And the practical impact of this is that shoppers can buy more from overseas, be it electronics, gifts, whatever, without incurring a difference of $500, so for a total of $1,000. And anyone recipients must still present, if purchases exceed that allowance, their receipts, right? So please note, though, that alcohol and tobacco allowance remains separate, like the 200 cigarettes, a liter of spirits, and 4 liters of wine. So this is more for the other stuff, right? That doesn't change. So for all of you, the benefits is definitely you'll get a consumer relief. You'll get more choices because you can travel. You can probably get more bang for your bucks if that works for you. And it's considered by some seasonal fairness because the government recognizes that holiday pressures provides some form of temporary relief, and it looks at a more general from their perspective. And it also encourages travel shopping. Now, some of the challenges that from a local business standpoint with these fees now that has been levied to go in effect come January is that, some of the small businesses could be thinking that Caymanian retailers may be impacted by reduced sales as residents purchase overseas, which it gives persons a choice, right? Instead of being more inclined to shop locally. And when you look then at money, this is persons who are operating their businesses locally. When you look at the more money spent abroad doesn't really circulate here at home in the Cayman economy, potentially that can affect those small businesses during this time of the year. But what's your opinion? Do we have enough population then that this shouldn't matter? And whoever wants to go away, go away. They could be shopping online anyhow. It'll be interesting to get your feedback on that. But, this short-term measure of allowance increase is temporary because after January 11, it reverts back to the $500, right? So the potential uneven benefit that it could have to some of our local providers is only those who can afford overseas travel will gain this allowance. But that all depends how you look at it, in my humble opinion, while others may not benefit. So what's your thoughts on it? I'd love to get your feedback. Do you think that higher allowance helped Caymanians, or does it hurt local businesses? It's almost one of those, you damn if you do, you damn if you don't. You're just trying to get it balanced. This is something that our locals have become accustomed to. And I would like to get your take as well. Do you think this will change how you shop this holiday season? Because I want to go into that because some people are already feeling the pressures and realities of cost of living. And there's, when you look at what people purchase when they go overseas versus shopping locally, I'd love to hear what's one thing you always buy overseas because it's just too expensive locally. Now, some of you will all say, everything is, but I'm quite sure there's certain things that we know straight up that is a little bit more economical to go overseas. And that is where the competition comes in locally, right? But what I'm seeing right now in the habits in spending and the pressures of spending is the reality is hitting people. So for those of you who missed it, that's the official press release. The Minister of Home Affairs responsible for CBC, the Honorable Nicholas DaCosta, has made that declaration in a phone call earlier on, but that's the official press release that is in wide circulation. Melita, that's a want, not a need. Okay, gotcha. I get you. Shaka Zulu, good evening. And it's good to have you here, my dear. Happy Friday. Hope you're looking forward to a very good weekend. I don't know about nobody else, but for some reason, I am just like happy it's Friday. Get 2 days to just kind of clear my head. But we got some updates on the budget has now passed, but the opposition abstained. And I want to try to break that down exactly what that means, just for conversation purposes, because we've been trying to keep up and making sure that we can bring a balanced discussion here for what it means. But we'll go into that. Dee, please big up Calvin Smith, CJ. And let's wish him a speedy recovery, because I'm sure he's missed amongst the craziest. I didn't realize. Love you, Bobo. Oh, yes. Oh, CJ's not feeling well, Colvin. Boy, he's something else. He's a hard Caymanian worker. Colvin, I want to wish you a speedy recovery. Yes, he is a gem. And he's definitely a spark wherever you go, so willing to help. And that's with any job that he do. This is one Caymanian that I know can just hold down 3 and 4 jobs, and he just still take it with a smile. I hope you, Melita, thank you for sharing that. Love you, Bobo. I just hope Colvin recovers. Wish him a speedy recovery as well. Oh my, yeah. Oh, I don't like to hear when people are not feeling well, especially, when you know them and you know their personality and they're incapacitated. And it hits home. It hits home a different way. But thank you, Melita, for sharing that. So as you know, we're here celebrating the holidays. It's another day here on Sabrina Speaks. I may cut loose a little earlier today. Bando Sandra could kill me. But I will hold it down as long as you have me here and we are participating in this discussion. We know that Fridays are a little slower, based on the topics now and based on your engagement as well. But I can't take my eye off of the fact that we're seeing all that's going on right now with the Black Friday, even though it's 1 week away. I don't really care what the commercial side of it do, but I've been hearing people, and I brought it up here in an earlier episode, that it looks as though we almost skipped Halloween and Thanksgiving, and we went straight into Christmas. But to each his own, because what we know as Black Friday is still an entire week away. But I can spin this narrative right now on you, because behind all of that sparkle, many of us are right now feeling the squeeze. Let's be real. A lot of our civil servants got paid as early as yesterday, but a lot of persons are feeling the squeeze. And the squeeze in what I'm talking about is the cost of living, because that has obviously been something that we have had it here on this show. We've spoken about it. We know what's coming in the pipeline, coming down the pipeline. And some of us may feel the pressures of just keeping up with the Joneses and can feel even heavier, especially during this time of the year. So if you would allow me, and I welcome your contributions, your participations in this, I want to just delve a little bit about, the holiday shopping, the spending habits, and how persons can navigate the stresses without losing the true meaning of the season. And to also talk about the discipline. It's not deprivation. It's not depriving yourself of anything. More than likely, it's more focused on being disciplined. And it's also about freedom. Freedom from debt, freedom from stress, freedom from not being stigmatized as being frugal or cheap, or, oh, well, you don't want to give me anything. But really, what really matters? And for everyone who knows me, I am a real fan of Christmas, but I guess the older I'm getting, I'm appreciating just having family time, cooking, baking, sitting down around a game of dominoes. I still like to put up decorations. I'm not one of those that will change my Christmas tree decorations every year. That in itself can be costly. I like to have theme and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, leave me alone, Marshall. I may have to rejig the schedule for whatever reasons. No, I won't do you guys that. I won't do you guys that. You give me a reason to stay. I'll be here. Honest to God. You asked for 2 hours. I'm going to give you 2 hours. But yeah, sometimes things happen. But to be honest with you, I'm not one of those, as I was saying about the decorations and changing Christmas tree decorations based on themes every year, which can be costly. And we see pretty much, again, businesses will advertise. They have to tell you what they're selling. They want to sell their goods. We see the ads, we see the discounts, we see all the social media posts as well. And suddenly it feels like we have to buy more and give more and spend more. Those are the real pressures that people are actually facing. You know, Marshall, I think you're jealous. Leave me alone. You got to stay in because it's cool. I have the freedom of movement and enjoying beautiful sunsets that you probably don't have. So, you know what? Suck it up, buttercup. But, you know, there is a truth to all of this, you know, because when you look at what you're doing, oh, okay, you're at work. Good to go. But thank you for spending time with us, even while you're at work, Marshall. We appreciate you. And I know you're a huge fan of the CMRTV.com. We always love you guys. But the truth is, to be honest, that overspending now can really mean to people financial headaches in January. And some of us are going into December already on the back foot. Some of us are still trying to recover from recent graduations, summer vacation, and that's not a gift, to be honest with you, anyone wants when it comes to the headaches in January as many make these New Year resolutions, be it to lose weight, be it to change your habits and all that sort of stuff. But discipline is key as well. And we're seeing the pressures. We're seeing people who are just almost on edge, like nervy about just life on a whole, navigating it as a whole. And then bang, the season is here. But people do feel pressure. And to save face, a lot of persons still feel pressure to spend, and then you can't afford it just because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, or you don't want to be honest that you're going through something. I would love to find out, how would you handle the situation if someone caught themselves in that position? Let's say you're in an organization and you just honestly can't afford it. Like, there's a difference in patching a tire versus plugging a tire. There's a difference in just replacing a car battery this time of the year, or versus participating in buying gifts for your family, your kids, and participating in the work exchange. But I would love to get your opinion on that. How would you handle something like that? Would you just be honest? Would you do you have a caring work environment that they would understand that you can't participate? I think some people call it the pixie change, or the gift exchange, secret Santa, whatever it is you call it. Even if they make it a certain amount, that you just don't have that bandwidth to participate. But, you know, some people are actually feeling it, even though they're not speaking it. And we're seeing where they're struggling even much more this time of the year to fit in, to not be stigmatized, to not be called cheap because you're not talking about your business. No one needs to know what hardships you could be going through, because it should be nobody's business. But that's interesting. How do you decline without feeling like you're cheap if you don't want to participate in a gift exchange at your work. It'll be interesting. But I did a little bit of digging, and some of the spending habits, sometimes we just have to be real with ourselves, you know. I would suggest, hi, Miss Dorothy. How are you, my love? Good evening to you. Good to have you here as usual. Melita, I never think for anyone but food. So Honor, don't look for anything else from me. 1 plate per person and no carry home. Things tight like okay. Well, there you have it, Melita. For everybody who's related, friends, foe, family of Melita Ebanks, she has just made her 2025 Christmas declaration. She naga a thing other than 1 plate of food. And trust me, you can't say that it's not public knowledge now, Miss Melita. Good for you for putting it out there. So you've said it straight. Good for you for getting it out there. But you know, some of the things that can help you get over get through the Christmas holidays. I know a lot of young persons are eager and looking forward to 2026. You know why? Because a lot of them are going to be first-time homeowners. Yeah, I know a couple of young Caymanians who are just waiting to be homeowners, and they can see themselves into their home hopefully by summer of next year. I know some who just signed off on their mortgages and they're excited, fixing up and all this sort of stuff. Maybe their priorities have changed now this holiday season. Maybe they're looking at this holiday season totally differently. But for the average person, it is key to set a budget. Don't care. And we're seeing that right now in navigating the type of climate that we're in anyhow, because you have to decide what you can afford before you go and shop. It's that simple. If I know I do not have the high-end jewelry store's pocket, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. If I can't shop like how I used to because circumstances, just don't go. Or if you have a budget that would include that, then there you go. Your budget will dictate where you can and cannot go. And one of the other things is avoid impulse buys. You're going for one thing and you end up buying something else because it wasn't planned. That's impulse. What you need to do is ask yourself, do I really need this? Or do I just want to buy it because it's on sale? I can understand the TV sales probably skyrocketing like you will not believe right now because of all of the foreign workers that we have amongst us from Jamaica that have lost practically everything. That makes sense. Be it the TVs, be it other stuff. I can see those persons now, and that's probably going to make a big positive dent in a lot of the stuff that people are buying. Many persons have lost everything from bed linens and all that sort of stuff. So at the end of the day, I can see that coming from you, Connie. At the end of the day, I can see where pots, utensils, that sort of stuff, towels, sheets, bed and bags, curtains, as these people really try to build back their lives, right? But again, go about it smart. Take it in stages. Avoid impulse buys. Like if this is a year where, the bandwidth isn't there to do this overall theme type of Christmas, just cut back. Cut back. Mix up what you've had from previous years. And another way of doing it as well, even though we're heading down the road of digital currency, use cash, not debit. Now, there's a safety concern with that as well, but it helps by using cash. It helps avoid the trap of credit card debt. Now, there's one thing you can use your debit card. Once your debit card is done, that's it. It could bring up just like a credit card. But the most important thing is, and embarrassing is when it's declined, even when it's not your fault. Like there's just issues. That's one of the most embarrassing things, right? But let's say you have a credit card that is not maxed out. You probably still have 5,000 on it. It all depends on your limit. And this time of the year, you go gung ho crazy. Remember, credit cards normally carry the highest interest rates. And if you're not in the position come January or whenever that next statement is due to pay that off 100%, you are going to be caught in a spiral, a whirlwind of just trying to play that down, unless you're going to then make the decision in the new year to pay it in 2 or 3. But every time that you miss that payment, you cannot pay that off 100%. The interest rate is through the roof. So my advice to some is to even plan experiences instead of things if you want to do something for a friend or loved one or family, right? Like a family dinner. Like, yeah, look at the deal that Luigi is doing at Cabana with farm to table. Guys, it could be there. It could be anywhere. What I'm saying, instead of, can you imagine that what would be like? Or just do a nice big brunch or something. You do a potluck at your house. Or if you just want to get out of your house and change the scenery, these are options that you can do. Plan experiences instead of things, like a family dinner, a brunch, a beach, well, picnic, too cold this time of year for us Caribbean people. Or just doing something together as a family, like just go out and just kick back. For me, it's let's all come together, shoot crap, play games, light up the grill. That's me. That's me. I mean, just talk loon crap. Or to avoid the cleanup at home, go to wherever really accommodates you and just have a whale of a time with friends and family. Yeah, I the good friends. Nothing beats that. You get home, and however you're going to be hydrating yourself, you just take a shower and sleep it off. And then the next day you do it all over again. Hey, Melita, I'm glad I'm not materialistic. 2 bottles of perfume last me a year. For your information, I'm out and need to be, I'm not a need to replace. Any volunteers? Oh, I got you, Melita. So, all right. So we know what Melita is asking for Christmas. She wants perfume. Well, so much options, but I'm sorry. I'm hooked on She Blooms. She Blooms, I'm hooked. Even though Hibisco is trending, She Blooms is still blooming for me. Hey, Keith, happy Friday to you, my love. How you doing? Parents need to stop telling their children lies that that Santa Claus brought their Christmas gifts for them, and let them know the truth, that they worked hard to buy those gifts for them. Keith, you are so right. And the children that are youngest, based on the influence of the Christmas movies and cartoons alike, remember Elf on the Shelf? Remember the one with the train? I can't remember what that one named. And all of that sort of stuff. Even though they're at that age that it's imagination and all this sort of stuff, that still is a habit. Even though as they get older, in kids, they know that Santa Claus isn't real. The actual tradition or habits, so to speak, of saying what you want for Christmas remains. Because I know young adults right now that are still like, this is what I want for Christmas, knowing for a fact that it's their parents that are purchasing it. And parents will go over and beyond to purchase that, knowing that it's overreaching, far extending. Yeah, Keith, you are quite right. I think in time, this will fade and people will understand the importance of family gatherings, though, Keith. But what has happened, even though the children grow up to realize that, first of all, in Caribbean, we ain't got no chimney. You could drop in a caboose, and we don't even do that. Or you could drop on a barbecue grill. Okay, it is what it is. We see even with the landing here, you come by helicopter, you come in by a boat. It's good. It's fun. It's giving back. But yeah, I do agree, and to each his own with how they want to raise their kids, and just being balanced here. But the older these kids get, they'd be like, well, then you were lying to me about Santa Claus. So what you leave these cookies for? Who you leaving it for? Mommy and daddy, you were eating those cookies? It is what it is. I see some beautiful ideas of spraying like the fake snow and leaving footprints like the eve, like on Christmas Eve, and make it look as though somebody came into your house. Now, if I wake up and I see that, I know I've been intruded. Okay. Somebody intruding in my house. So we all know that ain't real. So if Santa Claus want anything from my house, he could get a piece of cassava cake or a piece of fruit cake. And you're going to probably smell it from before you open the door. It is what it is. But that's a little humor behind it. But Keith, you are so right. Denny, how are you? You've been quiet. What his name is? Cameron say you must be run out of credit. But Cameron is just trouble. Everyone should have a budget matching their pay period. You are quite right. Unless you enter into one of that, and that's even with a budget. So you're quite right, Danny. I know Credit Union did a savings that you could put a little bit from January, and then you can cash in on it come December. And that kind of eased the pressure, and that forces discipline, you know. There are some other institutions, financial institutions as well, that offers things, just like our credit union will do that. They also have one for insurance, I think, for house insurance. I stand to be corrected. But this is all again with discipline, because some people will say, well, why am I going to put it in credit union when I can just put, you know, each pay period, I'll just drop into whatever, a 25, a 50 here and there. And by the time, whatever, we all know what's going to happen if you put that home. It takes a really strong person to not find a reason to go into wherever you hide your stash at home for cash, to be disciplined and not touch it till the 1st of December. But if you are disciplined, kudos to you. It's like a payout on steroids come January 1st if you're that disciplined. But maybe that could be some of our New Year's resolution. Maybe we need to start doing from June to June something for hurricane season. That is something we probably need to consider for the hurricane season. Because just how like we do compulsory savings for Christmas from January to November, right? We need to do one from whenever that would be to cover you during the hurricane season. So that would be that would then be what, November to June? Or maybe you can push it to August. Yeah, that would be interesting. I think we all need to readjust ourselves and how we prepare for unforeseen circumstances, even if you have catastrophe insurance for your property. I think, to be honest with you, we really need to start preparing separately from our day-to-day instead of just Christmas. I think that would be something sound if people can do, understanding what we're faced with natural disasters, that we start doing some kind of savings now as well for hurricane season. So you cash in on that during that season, in the event that you have to, if you don't have plywood or you just need to go buy some additional stuff, whatever it is, I think we need to prepare for that, for some catastrophe thing. If you want to label it your hurricane season savings fund, whatever, and then you still maybe split whatever you do for Christmas in two, because you're already committing to your Christmas commitment, and do that then for half and half then for the hurricane. That should be interesting. It just popped into my mind, Denny, when you said that. Miss Lucio, good evening to you, my love. Give Colvin's, wishing him a speedy recovery. Blessings on him. Love you all the time. Love you too, my love. Hope you're doing well over there as it's getting cold. I see the river. Is it a river? Yeah, a river in London with these boats, beautifully decorated. And having been there and seeing what they're doing for the holidays, looks like a really, really nice outing there in the UK for all of you UK people out there want to take in Christmas at a different temperature. Definitely crisp. Haha. Melita 212. Really? Is the bang girl. When buying two, that definitely have to be one of them. Okay, 212. You know, my aunt works in the perfume store at Kirk Freeport, right? She's the manager. Miss Elsie May. Elsie May gets busy, 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 busy. And oh, unsolicited plug for Kirk Freeport. They do, and they will be having Black Friday specials, but you can catch in on this. They have some very good gift sets out there already that are very economical and they smell great. So you don't have to wait for Black Friday. I was eyeing a lot of sets, to be honest. This is an unsolicited plug for Kirk Freeport, but I'm just sharing it here with you. I was out there doing some damage a little earlier, but we really were topping up on some stuff for myself to not get it mixed up with all of the other stuff, right? And yeah, I was amazed at some of the prices that I'm seeing on some of the very good gift sets that are out there and the price tags that are on them. So if you want to get a head start and don't want to be out there for their Black Friday shopping, you can go out to Kirk Freeport now. And I'm quite sure that's at all of their locations, but right there now on Bayshore, they have some inexpensive gift sets and they smell good. And we all know what Kirk Freeport gives. But hey, that's again, unsolicited plug only because of what Melita is saying. And I remember my aunt. Yeah. The real Michelle. Lies we tell children. Conditioning lies. No one wants to be the parent whose child destroyed magic lies. Well, I tell you what, wait till those demands keep coming in, the real Michelle. But, I never had that problem with my two boys. I didn't really sell the whole narrative of Santa Claus is coming. They did see the presents, but I never pushed anything on them. I just looked at it as a season of giving and celebrating, but the whole pushing narrative that Santa brought this, no, I didn't push it, but we still enjoyed the moment. So we still sell Santa. Yep, that's we do. But it's good to go get a little pictures too, man. It's good to get little pictures. When he get his sunburn, Santa got a sunburn. Lucille, Sabrina, you getting like Sandra now. All she walk about, her. Sandra is just so busy. I know she ain't got no time to scratch her head. We're all over the place, though, to be honest. It really helps in this space. I need to get out a little bit more. I've been accused of becoming a recluse, but that's what happens when everything happens at home. And if you do see me out, it's like, when was the last time you were out? So when I do, the thing is, Miss Lucille, you see, when I started, hard to rein me back in. So I'm really looking forward for the Christmas holidays because I go in hard at it. I am going to go hard. So it is what it is. Miss Melita, I had a weeping willow tree as a Christmas tree. Those are the best trees. When I was growing up, I wish I could relive my child, Miss Melita. And they actually had the smell too. I remember when Public Beach was Public Beach and you had Governor's Harbor or Harbor Heights. They had the white wall and then you had the two roads that was horrible, lone potholes, and there was lots of wheat and willow trees over there between there and the long South Sound Road. Christmas, you would go and you would get it and you would get a bucket or a pail and you'd fill it up with sand and you would stick it in there and you would decorate it with your Christmas decorations. That was our live Christmas tree. I know what that is like, Miss Melita. Oh, yeah. And she was pretty, pretty, pretty. Like balsam fur and all kind of fur and that kind of fur. And I don't know about that as a child. I knew exactly what you're talking about. Now, that's a real Caymanian Christmas. And we didn't have no bugs dropping out of it either. So, yeah. Ugh. But yes, I love my childhood, and we had carolers. Melita, do you remember carolers? We had a group of people coming around during Christmas. I know we still have it, the Red Big group. They would go around in their bus. We have certain districts as well that go across, do caroling. But back in those days, not timelining myself, but hey, everybody knows my age. I can remember as a young child waking up in the wee hours of the morning and hearing persons, because of where I was raised up behind the Latter day Saints church right there in Elgin Avenue, across from the police station, and hearing people singing. And as a child, I didn't know who these people were, but I thought that was one of the nicest experiences as a young child to wake up to. And then when you get your senses, then my grandfather, I could smell the fragrance of the turkey in the oven bacon and the meats. And yeah, that as an adult now, I can remember like yesterday. Uh-huh. Hi, Titi. Maleda. No, yeah. Time is the best gift one can give their loved ones, and it's free. You're quite right, the real Michelle. You are quite right. That is the best thing you can do. For some, many spaces will be left empty this Christmas. It gives you a time to reflect and reflect on those memories of those who was with us or who were with us and are no longer with us. For others, it'll be hitting at a different pace, but life goes on, and that doesn't mean to take away of not respecting those who are no longer with us. But it really makes you embrace even more those that are around us and show appreciation. Love you always, TD. Not feeling well today. That's you and Melita sharing your exchanges. There you go. Catch the specials you can use during hurricane and store them. You're quite right, Melita. That's another good idea. Because those shelf life on some of those things are long. Okay. And I'll tell her I'm out and saving my tips and soon come hint, hint. Real Michelle. Sandy had a terrific show this morning. Yes, I saw that. I do a lot of things while I'm preparing for this myself. And Ralston Anglin was on, and that was when Nicholas called in as well. Very informative, but remember, that's a standing show that he has with her on Fridays. You can expect him or his ministry to come on. I'm still, this platform is still building, and I am welcoming any members of government, the opposition, independents. The space is here. So to each his own, but that is a standing thing that he will have. And we will see in the new year some changes and regular schedule stuff coming here on Sabrina Speaks, as well as I continue to build this space. But it is open. I am willing to showcase all sides because I feel that is being fair in all cases. And I'm quite sure it's the same on all platforms. But yeah, it is what it is. But it was a good show, Mia Michelle. Lucille, I forget to ask my minister Raleigh where in London he is coming so I can start walking from tonight to meet him. I love him so much. I'm quite sure somebody will tell him, Miss Lucille, that maybe you can send a private message to Miss Sandra and maybe exchange your number with him, and who to tell? He may actually reach out to you once he's in the UK. Good evening. That's okay, Miss Barbara. You were out, Barbara, you were out trying to get those Black Friday specials or what? Thank you, Melita, for that. Governor's Harbor. Yeah, that's where I used to go, and along South Sound Road with my grandparents and my mom to get those trees. Yeah. Oh, nice. I had one in a yard as well, and I used to shape it really nice in one of my houses that I had. Yeah. Carlos is still in Chile. Carlos is still in Chile. I see something in Florida too, where they actually have, you can rent them. You can actually retain them to sing at different parties, just like how you would retain like a DJ. This time of the year, they have professional carolers that they could come and do things, everything now, my dear. I spray painted a tree on my living room wall one year, hung lights and photos of friends and family who were missed. Oh, really? Didn't need no fancy tree. Good for you. Child in compass accent. Oh, sorry. Thanks for that correction, my friend. You can see that went over my head, my friend. No fancy tree. Donnie, how are you? Good evening, listening. I'm putting up my Christmas decorations and my favorite time of the year. Dawn, I know you. Oh, yeah. You just love doing that. I remember the days you, Sonia, and Orion. Oh, my God. Prettiest decorations. You guys just have the knack for that, though, Dawn, to be honest. You come up with the best ideas, and it looks like something you would see out of a book. So good for you. Good for you. When I do start putting up my stuff, I like to play Christmas carols in the background, be it traditional Caribbean stuff or the Caribbean stuff or traditional holiday stuff, nothing too boring or whatever. But with all the options right now that you're having on YouTube, it's good to just have it playing there in the background. Yeah. I would love to see, Real Teresa, I would love to see a conversation with you and some of the elected members. I'm all game. I'm here. I am really here. I'm really here. And you know what? Kudos to one to say about Kenneth, minister, about, no, he's not minister, MP from Georgetown Central. Kenneth not got no shame in his game. Kenneth, come on, he call and he talks. And I invite. So it's not like it isn't there, Michelle. I'm here. I'm all game. The platform is open. And if you're inviting and they're just too busy, that's their choice. But I'm here, my love. Let's see, maybe in the future, we will have them for the new year. Now that they're over their budget, their $2.5 billion budget has passed, which I'm still going to cover that and what that means in layman's terms when the opposition abstains, what that means. Tisha, West Bay tradition. Every Christmas morning, the children would wait for the trucks to come by with the Scholars International Football Team players to pass through with candy for them. The things that make up Christmas in Cayman would never trade it for snow any day. Aw, you know, Tisha, that actually still happens in Cayman Brac on Christmas Day. I think it's sponsored by the Lions Club. And they get on a truck and there's Mrs. Claus and Santa Claus and they give gifts and candies. And one Christmas morning, my head took me. Literally, my head took me. And I just got on a flight Christmas Day and I left. And I went Cayman Brac. Best Christmas ever. I was barefooted as the world could be. And I walk, bless her soul, Aunt Lurley Temp. I walk, because nearly everybody in Spot Bay is family to me. And I walk from one house to the next, Miss Starry, looking for coconut pie. And I think Sharon was up there that Christmas too. And I walked from everybody's house, just looking for food. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. But that was one of the highlights in the evening, Tisha, and they came on the back of the truck and the kids were running out the road. You know, Cameron Rock, you can literally play football in the road down by the end there, Cornwall turn. And it was really, really different. I enjoyed that time there, to be honest with you, in the Brac that Christmas. I just wanted to get away from it all. And that's where I went. I left here on Christmas Day and it will floor you. The flight did not have an empty seat. That flight was full on Christmas Day with Brackers going home. And I remember the days with my listening to my aunts and stuff, where those guys, the younger guys, which would have been them then, they would block the road and they would just have fun. But it was just different over there in the Brac. But yeah, that's where I recall seeing that happening in the Brac. Barbara G, I had an old-fashioned Christmas for kids at the children's home when I was working there, complete with a local tree, smoke pot, and sand yard, conch shells, and caboose. The children and the neighbors were blown away. It was so much fun as they did their little Christmas concert. Now, you see, these are all of the experiences, Miss Barb, that a lot of these children would never understand. They see them in books, but they don't see it replicated anymore. I mean, with the exception possibly of the sister islands, maybe some yards in West Bay too. Well, first of all, you gotta be careful how you go get sand. It's not a tradition. And even though it may be conch and lobster season now, you don't see much people lining their yards with conch shell, yet it's so pretty. You could get in trouble right now for going and removing sand to freshen up your yard. But yeah, yeah, but that would have been nice. Kudos to you, my love. Melita, listen, TD. It's chill like chill. Oh, child. Yes, Tisha thing, child. Child, like children, child. Gotcha. And Tisha corrected me, But yeah, child. Honey child. That's Sandra's honey child. Play Christmas music and wine. But Dawn, you might be sipping that wine because I tell you what, your Christmas decorations are beautiful. Nothing is leaning. So good for you. Just carry me away down memory lane. Tisha just carried me away down memory lane. I made my children stand in front of the yard watching for the scholars truck. Oh, thanks. See, Tisha? There you go. Keith, please help those low income families who are not able to buy gifts for children. You're quite right, Keith. There are a lot of kids who will probably not have a gift to wake up to, and that should be that is some of the things that the NPOs take, but we can all do. A number of corporate companies as well. They do toy drives. Hey, Levana, how you doing? Happy Friday. I hear you, girl. Thank you, Levana. I said I wanted to message you for being so clear, so explicit. I got change CDs right now for a second. In explaining the fees of Cayman Airways. Thank you. And if there is one ambassador I know is you, when it comes to educating persons, it's you. We got all of the people who love Cayman Airways. But Levana, I thank you for explaining that, my love. I really thank you for explaining where the prices of our tickets come from and how it's broken down and justifying it to make it make sense. But thank you, Levana. I know we got Pats and all of them. We got the diehards and all of that. But, I thank you for really coming public and explaining it because a lot of people really don't understand. And the season is going to get busy for you guys over there now. And you're probably going to have to be explaining this again to a lot of persons. But thank you for just being so vocal, Levana. And I think I can officially say happy holidays to you and your family. And thank you for your continued support here on the show. Sabrina, remember to send a big shout out to our owner for it, Michelle. Yeah, I hope she have it. Yes. I did that yesterday, Miss Lucille, because she's traveling. I think if she's not going this weekend, she's going early next week. But Miss Shalma, she did call in on Sandra's show the other morning, but she's actually in the final stages. If she hasn't gone already, she'll be going very shortly. But yes, our thoughts and prayers are with her. She's not coming back, I understand, until the new year. So she's going to be over there for the entire Christmas and into the new year. So a well-deserved break for Miss Shalma. And despite the circumstances that she's going for, that's the latest on her. So you have your ways of keeping up with her. She will fill you in, I'm sure. Speaking of Christmas, Tisha, in the BRAC, I've done I've done that many a year in my younger times, and I can surely say, although we are one and the same, Christmas in the BRAC is very different from Christmas in Grand Cayman. Both are glorious in their own ways. You're quite right. About those kitchen dance and those sister and top dance. I've kicked up a leg more than once over there in the BRAC. And going home 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning or going to the lighthouse and watch the sunrise. Yeah, you can do that in BRAC and it's good. That's the true experience. Where's Miss Shalma? Melita, Miss Shalma had she's going to go to the States, but she had a tragic death in her family in Tampa. and she's not having one of the best Christmases right now with that loss. So yeah, her nephew lost his life in a car accident. So there we go. Yes, yes, in speedy recovery as well for you, my love. All the best to you. There we go. So yeah, we were talking about living within our means, and just to wrap up that. But you may have seen as we're winding down here on this episode of Sabrina Speak that the budget has now officially been passed. We're going to switch now into that festive stuff and going down memory lane and bring it back now to reality. Wow, hot girl, oh. Yep. Oh, yeah. I don't make no apologies, Belita. None at all. This is why if you got me in, you keep me in. Because if you let me out, all hell break loose. Oh, yeah. And now that I have my life back, yeah, I got my life back, Miss Belita. It is what it is. You got to live life. Now, let's bring it to reality now. Finance Committee has now concluded, as you've heard yesterday. And the government's $2.5 billion budget has officially passed. But here's the headlines that now some persons are really talking about is the fact that the opposition abstained from voting for the budget. Remember, all what I said was going on with the line of questioning and all of that sort of stuff. The government still has the numbers. So whether or not the budget was going to pass anyhow, right? But now some may look at the opposition's decision to abstain and say they're just making trouble, that the opposition are just not cooperative. And others may be feeling a bit frustrated, like, oh God, here we go again, wondering why they didn't vote yes or just outright say no. And I'm hoping maybe in this couple minutes we can explore that and to just take a step back from personalities and politics for what it is and look for what that really, really means from a constitutional and a democratic point of view, okay? So we're just going to strip away the politics, strip away the personalities, and look at it from that perspective. Hey, Miss Sonia, good to really have you with us. Happy Friday, my sweet. So in layman's terms, we already, and I hope you understand what the budget really means for us. And this budget now, this 2.5 billion, will kick in as of January 1st. So come the 31st of December, whatever monies they went to Finance Committee to take them through, remember all of these referrals for Cynical and to keep up NGS 55 and stuff who had fell short and all of the monies that they went for the other day. If those monies are not committed or spent by the 31st of December, everything goes back to zero. And this budget now that was just passed takes effect as of the 1st of January, right? So what takes effect is government spending plan as they presented, how much money they will use for the schools, healthcare, roads, salaries, operation of the government, and even capital projects. The landfill, you guys were asking, what is the solution for that? What's the big plans? I'm hearing now with the culling of cats that it's inhumane because persons did not realize that they were being shot and all of that sort of stuff, right? These are things you hear opposition members asking for dialysis now for the Eastern districts. That is what this budget is for, this 2.5 billion, okay? Now, when the opposition abstains, it means they are simply choosing not to support the budget, but also not to outright reject it. It's pretty much a way of saying, hey, we have concerns, but we're not going to block the process. We don't want to be a case where we're like the US, where Government workers aren't being paid. People can't get flown off for medical services because there's just no monies approved, right? They said they're not going to be blocking the process. And even so, again, government has the numbers. So it couldn't be that type of scenario here in Cayman. So think of it as being like a family at a family meeting. And if you don't agree with the plan that the family is making, but you don't want to stop the dinner from happening, you just sit back and let it go forward and putting on a bright smile, maybe, while making it clear that you're not fully on board, but you're still not stopping the family dinner. Okay? Kind of get it? Now, when you look from the constitutional and the democratic process of stuff, which is why this is informative, which is why this is educational. And I again, for those of you just joining us, strip away the personalities, remove the politics side of it, and just look at the constitutional and democratic concept of it, right? In our democracy here in the Cayman Islands, the opposition has a vital role. Now, you may not like their style and delivery. You may not look as though it's a pair they're just sore losers, but they're really not losers. They got elected. They're just not a part of cabinet. So they're not losers technically. They're not just there to oppose either for the sake of opposing. They're there to do exactly why they were asking, some more than others, questions. They're there to scrutinize, to question whether or not you think, oh, here we go again. Here we go again. That's what they're there for. And to hold the government as best as they can accountable. Remember, we're just shining the light now on the constitutional and democratic concept of the opposition. And in this case of an abstention, by them abstaining, abstaining is one of the tools they can use as the opposition. And what it signals is disagreement or outright concern with how the budget is being presented. They may be concerned for other areas, which I'm quite sure in time will reveal itself. But by them abstaining, they didn't stop. They didn't derail the functioning of government, which again, they can't. Even if it was a possibility, because there's just not enough numbers, okay? For that to have happened and not pass, you would have had to have had some persons sitting on the government bench that outright would have said no, and they would have had to say no to make the numbers lower than what it was. And even with an abstention, it's still wonky. They would have had to been a clear yes or no. But by them abstaining, they didn't derail the functioning of government, okay? Now, this is important because democracy is not about everyone agreeing, you know. That's not democracy. Democracy is not about everybody agreeing. It's about really having the balance, checks and balances, and differences in voices, differences in opinions, and the actual freedom to express dissent, disagreement, not agreeing without punishment. And I guess only time will tell with what's going to come January 1st with some of these new fees that are being imposed that we're told is not going to affect domestic, which a lot of you are now saying it is going to affect the domestic day-to-day people. Unless something changes and something is brought up in December when they go back to the House of Parliament. We don't know. It's only a matter of time. So really, why does it matter, right? why does it matter? Is because if we only see the opposition through the lens of personalities, because, oh my God, Sabrina talking again. What's wrong with her? You can't please her. Da, 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 da. No. If you only see the opposition through the lens of personalities, whether you like me or like them or not, we miss the bigger picture. Okay? Because the opposition's role is to represent alternative views. The opposition's role is to challenge decisions and to ensure transparency. And that's not troublemaking, to be honest. That's the word that I've heard come out of every Caymanian's mouth on multiple platforms. You know what you call that? That's democracy at work. And I know we like to use that word, but when you see it being played out, then you personalize it. Why he can't shut up? Why she can't shut up? It's democracy at work. We as a people need to educate ourselves a little bit more. And I'm hoping, being nonpartisan in how I deliver, how I educate, that people will understand exactly what's unfolding. And in this case, with this latest news release, when they abstain, it can be a way of saying that we want the country to move forward, but we also want to register our concerns. And possibly in the next sitting of Parliament, possibly on social media platforms, they will come and say why they or what are their concerns. Okay? Even though it's already passed, if you agree with their concerns, is it too late? We would just have to brace for impact, right? So at the end of the day, you said you want transparency. You said democracy has to be at work. Give them a chance. So what are we saying? Should the opposition just sit there with their hands full because they're already outnumbered? No. That wouldn't be a democratic society that every Caymanian cries for. But when they do their work, then we're personalizing it. And that's not fair. In all honesty, that's not fair. Okay? So to look at the positiveness of abstaining, by abstaining, the pros of abstaining is that it actually allows government business to continue smoothly, as I alluded to earlier on, and it registers disagreement that is now in the hands of for a long time without creating a gridlock, which means government will still happen. And it definitely keeps conversation alive about accountability. Okay, what's this comment? The more I listen to you, the more sense you make. You were too concerned for looking out for us, and it terrified them. You had to clip your wings, girl, but just look at you now. Oh, thank you for that compliment. You make more, yeah, you make it make sense. Thank you for that. My aim is to educate. My aim is to inform. My aim here is to not take sides. Because at the end of the day, each one of us is responsible for whatever decisions we make. My aim here is by education and educating and informing in the most neutral, nonpartisan way as I can. Hope will make you make the right decisions and hold those who you have decided for accountable. Because you can't make the right decisions if somebody don't take the time to break it down for you. Okay? So we need, and I noticed that that is a sickness that we have here, and it's common in small island jurisdictions, that we miss a lot because we're personalizing things too much. It doesn't care what is being said or that there's fluidity, that it matters what Sabrina is saying. It's because Sabrina is saying it that it's nothing. But then when the poop hits the fan and it splatters and everybody then is impacted, maybe somebody will remember what Sabrina was saying. But by then, damage already done, and sometimes it's irreversible. Okay? Say what you want. Yes, I'm going to call you out, Danny. Danny has sound advice, sound research. The man takes his time. He reads, he's connecting the dots that's light years ahead of me, light years ahead of many of us. And a lot of us is missing what he's saying because we're personalizing who's saying it, or what we're personalizing what is being said. And in this case, those are who, for example, moving forward digitally, and those who are against. It's no different than the government versus the opposition. Danny could be deemed the opposition. You see what I'm saying? So it's no different with what played out here in Parliament. Miss Melita, we have some well-educated persons representing us. I only wish time will change and allow them, whether they're leading or the opposition, and they will come together and work together for the betterment of our beautiful islands. Yes, that is the aim. And this is why, perfect. Them working together for the better of the islands is why they abstained, Miss Melita. They didn't create a gridlock. They didn't say no. But they're not going to be on record for saying aye. Because if anything was to backfire, and anything that transpired with that caused irreversible damage, impacts us negatively, you will not have one member of the opposition that says aye. And this is why over time we'll tell. And this is why over time they will then, to help themselves explain a little bit more in context and detail, maybe at a later date after the holidays, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months down the line, when certain things supposed to come and play and at pace, they will have an opportune time to say, do you see, when I was asking this question and this is how I got shut down, this is why I noticed some of the comments were coming on, why am I talking again, and da-da-da-da-da, and da-da. They will be able to then give examples of why they were asking certain questions to counter what is happening or going down a different direction. So yes, by abstaining and not saying yes or no, they are working together for the betterment of the islands. And even where numbers are concerned, they still didn't have the numbers. But this is the first budget for this administration. Even if there were any disagreements on the government side, you'd be stupid to play your hand right now. It's too early. It's too early. So let's give it the first quarter. This is by no means crying anything negative, because we want it to work for the betterment of our islands. But for the context in which the abstention came about, Miss Melita, is exactly why they took that route, okay? Hi, Sabrina. People should try to live on a reasonable budget if that's possible. Welcome to class. You may be commenting a little late. You were speaking about when we were talking about cost of doing Christmas shopping. It's good to have you with us. And yeah, thank you for joining us. The real Michelle, the opposition is obliged to test and challenge future laws that will bind everyone in Cayman. To test, challenge, and minimize risk is the point of a democratic process, right? You're quite right. You're quite right. But where the numbers are so tight, the real Michelle, is that sometimes even if certain things should go a certain direction, if because of collective responsibility to not play the true hands of any discord on the government side, you will probably see either members from the government, for whatever reason, when critical votes are supposed to be had, either MIA, taking a bathroom break, or they will just say, yeah, yeah, hint, hint. So there could be the democratic process is what it is. And to minimize risk, yes, you're quite right. But even like I said, if there were some things that were not agreed to, even by members of the government with their allocations, they would be stupid to blow it and not have voted for the budget this time around at this stage, to be honest with you, because they're pretty much tightening the noose around their own neck, and it could be a sign of discord, okay? And we don't want that. People are crying for some form of stability, but that is epitome of collective responsibility, where even if you're not happy with some of the money being allocated to your ministry for certain line items, you swallow, you breathe, you exhale, you take what you get and move on. That's collective responsibility, okay? So that's what that signifies. Let's go here. Real Michelle. Working together means testing and challenging and scrutinizing, surely. Yes. You're welcome, Melita. So you make it sound like politicians are playing politics. Surely not. Oh, no, they would never do that with the lives of our people. They would never play politics. Oh, no. That's not in their fiber. They would never do that to Meal Michelle. Let's go to the cons now. You can actually be misunderstood when it comes going back to the abstention. We explored what are the advantages. Now let's look at some of the disadvantages of abstaining. Because many a times with this abstention, which we've seen based on some of the comments and all that sort of stuff, that by abstaining, this can be misunderstood widely by the public as an indecision or just outright being obstructed, just trying to be obstructing the whole process. This may actually, another disadvantage is that it may frustrate those who just want a clear yes or no answer. And I told you why. They chose to abstain, okay? And it could also risk being seen as, I've heard you, I've seen the comments, grandstanding, political theatrics, rather than constructive critique. To each his own when it comes to all of that sort of stuff. But like I said, you can't expect democracy to play out, even though the floor of Parliament, be it there in Finance Committee or a regular sitting of the House of Parliament is adversarial, meaning there are going to be times that conversations will get very toasty, heated, but you can't be personal. You can't actually be speaking directly to each other, which is why you will hear in like what we saw in Finance Committee, where members were saying, through you, Mr. Through you, what is he? Oh my God, Ralston, or through you, Mr. Speaker, Chair. Through you, Mr. Chair, they would say, through you, Mr. Chair. And then he would acknowledge by him saying, and for the sake of Finance Committee, saying, through you, or the member saying, through you, Mr. Chair, and he acknowledges, that's really saying it's okay to say it because you're saying it through me as the chairman, which actually legitimizes what is being said. Unless, if you want to split hairs now, if the chair don't acknowledge, go ahead, Madam Lady Representative, or however it was Mr. Ralston used it. If he doesn't really acknowledge it, really it can be questioned as whether it was legitimate. Hence, You use the proper language in certain meetings and sittings of Parliament, which is why even when you're doing debates on the floor of Parliament, and sometimes for a little banter, it all depends on how much leeway the Speaker of the House will give a member of Parliament. You really can't be pointing your finger at this one or speaking directly to that one, because you're speaking to the chair. It's to the speaker. And then outside of that, it's outside of quorum. Okay. It's out of decorum, outside of the decorum of how it's supposed to happen. So at the end of the day, my dear, say it theater or not, it's the way people express themselves, but they're expressing themselves in this case to the chairman. And that role calls for a lot of consideration, a lot of patience, and oh my God, it all depends on the type of day and how long the barrage of questions and comments can go on. The chair in this case, kudos to him. You got to say it where it is. Kudos to him. But it comes with the role. No one should actually think that, oh my God, he was lenient, she was lenient. Oh my gosh. No, it comes with the role. And remember, there was a change in how this finance committee was conducted, that the opposition is questioning whether or not it was constitutional or not. And I'm doing my own research on that. And I'm quite sure they will be doing their research in depth. And if it was unconstitutional, now what happens? The budget passed. We got a 2.5 billion budget that's passed. Okay. So whether or not things in the next finance committee will change to either revert or create a hybrid of a little bit of what was transpired in this committee setting, only time will tell. TD, the cool and collective voice, not calling in this evening or what? Oh, he don't need to wait for the political talks, you know. We got assigned him to late night show to, okay, the cool. Boy, I don't know where Alfred is. Alfred just give him up. I guess he got somebody else. Alfred he just kicked me to the curb. I don't know why I did. I think there was a lot of Tisha. Tisha may have to blame with that because she was in strong competition for him. But I was just, see what you get for being the conduit? I was just being nice, giving him the platform, and I loved what he shared. But maybe he's somewhere, maybe buying that flat screen TV or out shopping or enjoying a nice adult beverage somewhere. I gotta try to find out where he is. And I gotta tell him, Melita, that we're missing him here on the Sabrina Speaks show. But yeah, he had plenty of admirers. Good debate is healthy and on point. However, it is my view, it is difficult to draw a line between personal and public interests with the island's population. Quite right. And you always hear me say here, some of the drawbacks of small island development states. The real Michelle, that's exactly what I be referring to, that can place small island development states like our own at a advantage. Yeah, I think so, Tisha. Maybe buying a flat screen TV, Miss Melita, Tisha say. That is a disadvantage, real Michelle, of us just being a small population. And remember, after all of the dust settles, not one of them in there can say that they are not Caymanian, that their families, their kids don't attend schools, don't attend national events, don't attend the case many churches, probably married to their first cousins. At somewhere they're going to cross paths maybe over the holidays. And even though they're on different sides of the parliamentary sitting of Parliament, we all won. But you cannot misunderstand. Please do not misunderstand their role. And which is why sometimes Even with the comments that are made here, I entertain all of them because that is what the space is for. You're entitled to your opinion, but let's delve down into it and look at it from both sides. Just look at it from both sides. And sometimes you compose yourself and you're like, what? Where did that come from? I have to respect. Not everybody keeps up at the same pace, and sometimes you have to repeat it over and over for it to care. However, somebody has it in their mind how they perceive certain things. That's going to stick. It's going to stay. I can't beat them up for that. I just have to be respectful. But I love when you have one side, the other side, and then we look at it from a neutral standpoint, which is nowadays is proven to be challenging because then they say, oh, she an idiot. That's personalizing it. For those who are flippant, sore loser. That's personalizing it. And it takes a lot of grit, a lot of discipline, a lot of determination to actually navigate in that space because of exactly what the real Michelle say, because of the island's small population. Yeah. Because every one of them are out into the supermarkets and that sort of stuff. And just like myself, by being here on this platform, I go to the supermarkets too. I go out. And there may be people just don't like my delivery. They just don't like my style. And it doesn't matter what I say, how I deliver. They just will not subscribe not subscribe as in subscribing, but will tune in. I respect them. Jesus only had 12 disciples, no matter which religion you. That is a fact. And eventually it will catch on. But I'm not here to withhold knowledge, wisdom, experience, and understanding from you because I know that eventually it will all make sense. And I keep saying it here. It will make sense. What you say his name is? Alfred. Okay, Alfred, you're summoned to the front of the class. Alfred, they're calling you. It's Alfred, and Danny doesn't have a bad voice either. Just so I don't know, Melita. It could be Alfred, who's always cool, calm, collective. Danny has one of those voices too. So I can't ever recall Danny getting loud. No. I wonder if that's why he annoys some of you guys. Because he doesn't raise his voice and go ham. But yeah, it's either one or the other, Miss Melita. It's either Alfred or it's Danny. See? Real Michelle say, Danny, I hope you hear. I hope you see. The real Michelle say she loves Danny's voice. Where's Marshall? Is it just me commenting? Marshall, come here. Oh no, Marshall working. Marshall was the first to comment, Melita. He is working. I think that's why that brute is not as vocal on our show as he is in the morning one, because even though he's still checked in, he comments though, but not as in depth. But he's at work. He did, Melita, say that he was in tune. He always is, actually. But he said he was actually working. Arthur, all over the world, silence, give consent. Say it again. Arthur and Danny keep saying it. I keep saying it. And the more we remain silent, the more we're saying it's okay. And I think in time, that will live its way out. But the sad thing is, sometimes it then turns into anger. And then they're angry not only with themselves, they're angry with the world. And conflict resolution, Arthur, is not something that is at the top of the line right now. And I'm really hoping that we will never get that far that spaces like this will be able for persons to respectfully be able to voice their opinions. And we're knowing for a fact that there have been some results coming out just from this platform, that it has been a source where persons are actually listening. And we are seeing subtle changes being made just by some of the discussions that have actually taken place here. So, Arthur, if it's a culture that Caymanians just remain quiet, then that we can accept. But I'm not seeing that as a broad brushstroke anymore. We are becoming a little bit more vocal. Some I've heard comments all over the place that some were very loud during the campaign and now they're not loud anymore. I wonder if they're now being placed on a board to shut them up, or they're being placed on a council, or they're promised a job to shut them up. I don't know what that is, but I think that everybody's voice, as long as we are hearing from the civil servants that they can't speak, which you can understand that. But contrary to what the deputy governor is saying, they just can't be seen on political platforms like wearing their shirts and branding and that sort of stuff, because in their role as civil servants, they have to be neutral. But there are means and ways that civil servants do voice their concerns, that they do have their say. There is a cry for civil servants to be able to speak a little bit more publicly, but you can understand why it's a little bit challenging, or it will be a little delicate, knowing that they're there to serve no matter what the sitting administration. So again, the real Michelle said, those are some of the drawbacks and the disadvantages of being a small island jurisdiction. Danny is my boy, TD. I'm not going there. Oh, okay. There you go. Danny, you're taken. Here listening from the UK. Wake up the Caymanian. It's always good to have you guys. Thank you for staying up as well. Your feedback means a lot to us. Okay. So please, by any means, any discussions that we're having here, please feel free. We can to join in the discussion. And I'm hoping that you're loving the content that we're sharing here and putting it into context for you. Real Michelle, silence leads to time, leads to consent by acquiescence. You're quite right. Yes. And certain pressures are as well will let them, let me throw another word, capitulate, meaning they just give up. They just fall in. They fall for anything. So yeah, Real Michelle, you're quite right there as well. What, Marshall? Marshall is commenting. I'm here, busy at work. Miss Melita, I'm expecting my Christmas gift. There you go. That way you get. You should have leave him sleeping. Miss Melita is saying, Denny's my boy. I'm not going to go there. Keith, members of parliament need to make laws that banks are not allowed to make their own laws. Huh. That's hinging on how you can put that now. We have been asking for consumer protection, and under the financial industry, is it their laws or their policies? Because their laws are one thing, but the policies and how they operate their business is another thing. I think it's the policies more than anything else. And then that's threading into a little bit of communism, maybe. I'm just throwing it out there, Keith. I think this requires a broader conversation, to be honest, Keith. And I would love to explore that, but not as a solo host. Because far too long, persons, not only banks, it's even businesses. And that's where the consumer protection cry, Keith, was coming out from. People were asking for consumer protection, and it wasn't only for particular sectors. I think they were just looking at that from a holistic point of view. But again, some of the drawbacks is how Cayman earns its money, lack of political will, tighter legislation, regulations, and political legislative reforms. So that will be interesting. But good comment there. One plate per person, Bo. You better flight come here for it. Oh, Marshall may have missed that. She said the only thing she got for people this year is a plate of food, Marshall. There you go. Lucille, Denny is hiding from you girls. Christmas is, oh Lord, Christmas is coming. He watching his budget. You all are too expensive. Daddy, Miss Lucille got you figure out. I guess he go MIA in Valentine's too, right? Smart, 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 smart. Real Michelle, unless you can prove fraud or corruption, as I understand things. Kaboom, Keith Orbit, stop giving bankers power. There you go, Keith, requested by the Real Michelle for your comment that is saying members of parliament need to make laws that banks are not allowed to make their own laws. So yeah, very interesting commentary there, and sound as well as we look into turning this new chapter for a new administration, for a new government. These are some of the things you heard in the discussions held by the Honorable Ralston Anglin today when there was, I think it was Kerry had called about the fees for stamp duty and the LCCL fees being much, much more, that he said it was a discussion that was worth having and consideration from his colleagues, and it was something that he was going to take back today. So these are some of the things, Keith, that you're asking here in this question, that should the powers that be, it may not be as easy as what Carrie was alluding to, but these may be some talks that may have to be ensued with this fresh government, listening to you, the people. And I deliberately put it back up on the screen for emphasis, so that for those who may have missed the conversation and the kaboom, that they will see exactly what Keith stated. Members of parliament need to make laws that banks are not allowed to make their own laws. Now that could be very broad as well. In what sectors, what specific, but it's for them to sort it out. And Keith, not knowing exactly who your representative is, I'm going just by the last name, Orit, that, maybe you may have an opportunity to speak to an elected representative and put more context to your statement. And I'm quite sure many of us will have additional information as well that you could share to this, but it's going to be interesting how that one would be taken on, because I know from the previous administrations, lots of talks go on with the Bankers Association, and it may be more than one government agency where it deals with how these banks operate as well, that conversations may be had. But if it is the will of the people, just like how we pressed for immigration reform, and we see how they're actually bringing that forward now, and will be debated in the next couple of weeks when the House resumes, maybe this is something that before this term ends, there could be something advocated for exactly what Keith is asking for here, that could make ease of doing banking business here in the Cayman Islands differently. Now, maybe it's not that easy, but it's the will of the people. And at the end of the day, they have to listen to you. And let's see what could become of it. Marshall, Miss Melita says, FedEx it to me. Well, they're FedExing all sorts of fruitcakes, Auntie Donna's cakes and whoever cakes all over the world. So yeah, my pleasure. With your payment, please, and thanks. There you look here, and I'm getting into this, and I'm getting into this. This is funny as hell. But you know what? Yes, we are at the end of a show. Can you imagine what you thought about today with the whole budget thing? Donnie, how's the decorations coming? Hope you're just almost about finished. I'm still trying to get in the mood to put up mine. But I think I'll do it tomorrow. I am going to be changing the backdrop though. So Saturday, some of you may say, well, wait 1 week, but I'm over it. Remember I told you guys, I get bored easily. I get bored easy. I get bored quick. So I think I'll be doing my Christmas setup this weekend. And then maybe that may kickstart me into doing around the house with what I'm going to do. But yeah, I got some little Christmas stuff that I want to do. I'll probably play around it, whether or not I'll remove the chair and that sort of stuff. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Then that'll last straight up until it's time for me to go on a little Christmas break. And I know a lot of you guys say, "What do you mean Christmas break? We ain't going there. We not going there. We not going there. I could take a little Christmas break." And and in the meantime, I'm trying to get some sponsors as well so that I could do some giveaways as well, because you guys have embraced me like you would not believe. And I'm so grateful for you. And it's just me saying thanks. But I'm looking for some sponsorships for your loyalty, for your dedication. And many a days, I could be honest with you, I'm like, oh my God, can I do this? How can I do this? I got to continue. But then you get on live and you get the feedback. And it's not like I pry on compliments. No, I just don't do well with it, even though it's healthy. But you guys really inspire me to do more. Your encouragement and feedback, I value, because it's not. And Sandra will tell you, she's been doing it for years. As a newcomer coming out of a total different industry, it's not easy just finding content and sharing and sitting down doing a live podcast where anything can happen. That is sound, it's gripping, it keeps you, grabs your attention without going into, how can I say this now? Without going into coming after anyone. However, there are going to be controversial conversations that we're going to have. There are going to be cases that we will report on that may actually rile you up a little bit. But I really want to stick this where it's a nonpartisan. I want this stamp to be a nonpartisan space where we really look and delve in and look at thought-provoking topics and stuff that builds us. Now, if there's unscrupulous behavior by individuals, certain trends that of course, we're going to go into it, but there always be a balanced approach on how my style is going to be. But many a days I'm like, oh my God, here we go again. And then we come here and I'll have like Connie Bonnie, Jim Norris is still MIA. And I'll have like Melita, yourself, Real Michelle, Shaka Zulu, Shaq, all of you guys, Marshall, every one of you. You know, I really appreciate that. And it means a lot to me. And even though sometimes a lot of you tune in after the fact, Donna, I hope you're getting better. And Sonia, even though a lot of you guys are watching after the fact, when you do catch me out and your feedback, I thank you. I thank you for it. And even when it's third hand from other people, I appreciate the feedback. But it's not easy looking for the content, having the real conversation, as brutal as it may be sometimes. Jasaria, you out Black Friday or what? What happened? You're quiet today, my friend. What's up? But yeah, at the end of the day, it's not easy, but I'm going to continue doing this because I see where it's rewarding. And at the end of the day, you will be very happy for this space and how I intend to continue to deliver for you. Real Michelle, bankers think that they are above the law, and I've witnessed some very creative interpretations from some of your island's top bankers. Soon all will be revealed. Well, like what I said, girl, we here for it. We here for it. Gotcha. It's not so. It is 1 minute according to my frying pan, as those kids would say. On a real hold of me for the 7 o'clock. Marshall, I've connections at FedEx. Drop it off. Oh, really? Good to go. Good to go. Good. Melita, you hear it right now. I want to be like you when I grow up. Oh, Lord, you'd be surprised, Melita. It's what you make of it, my love, my love, my love. It's really what you make of it. Keep going. You're doing an amazing job. Thank you. You make it look easy. Girl, it's consuming, and thank you for that. It is consuming because I do a lot of research. And sometimes it's all over the place because, at any time you can get breaking news that can change the trajectory of your conversations. But sometimes even when you guys go off into other rants and stuff and other topics, I got to pick back up because usually 99% of the time, there's always a hook. There's always a takeaway that I aim to cover in all of my shows, which is why sometimes you will just see the flyers go out about my shows that is just a generic branding. It's because it's a medley of conversations and not just one thing. I do my best once we have guests to promote the guests so that it can spark interest. Like Monday, Mr. Woody Foster. Oh, Woody, if you're listening, I'm sending you your stuff in a little bit. But Woody's going to be on right now. He's committed to coming on Monday. And during the week as well, later on in the week, we're going to be joined by Cayman Cabana. Luigi Moxham will be on telling us all about what he has in store for Cayman Thanksgiving. He's going to be coming on as well, telling us all about that. But it's looking good as we aim for the Christmas holidays, and it is what it is. Jim Melita was on extended leave. I did personally reach out to him. He gave me the thumbs up that he was good, and he communicated back and forth with me. And Connie has already signed her divorce papers from him. I'm the only one that's holding on by pretty much a thin thread. So yeah, Jim is fine. I'm going to reach back out to him again, but he's away. He's taken some extended time. He misses all of us. He still loves us. And every now and again, he does check back in. So yeah, it is what it is. But good for him for unplugging. So yeah, you guys held me. I went over by a minute. But as we prepare to enter into this weekend, we can almost breathe a sigh of relief because whether or not you said yes nor abstained in your own space as Caymanians to digest, as we digest this $2.5 billion budget, let's remember, it's democracy is not about personalities here. We kind of covered that today, and it's about a process. And when we talk about the opposition and abstention, it's just a part of the process. And it's a way of balancing support for the country without accountability, with accountability for the government. So as we embark on this weekend, I want us to not take our eyes off of the fact that many persons are out there hurting. And even though it may be hard to resist a compulse buying, please do our best to resist overspending. Because in all honesty, discipline is not a punishment, It's not a punishment. It's protection. And it's a key to enjoying the season without January blues. So as you're out there partaking in the festive shopping, whatever you're going to do, be it you're stocking up on your food in order to marinate them from now. If you're like me, I'll have to buy my meats, clean them up, season them up, date them so that you can just put them all away. That's my style. Just remember that at the end of the day, the best gifts aren't bought, they're felt. Please ask Woody to address the big bus parking spot at airport store. Persons so disrespect that spot. Oh, okay. I will ask him. Aw, Melita, we all miss Jimbo. We do. Yeah. So as you're out there preparing for the Christmas holidays, and whether or not you're deciding you got your shopping list maybe over already, I don't know. Maybe you're some of those who just buy stuff up during the year so it doesn't hit you like a ton of bricks. What we need to remember is that there's love, there's laughter, and there's community just like this. And that's really what makes Christmas in Cayman and all over the world really, truly shine. So I want you all to have a wonderful weekend. I'll be posting things here and there. It all depends on how I feel. but I'll definitely keep in contact with you on my space. I know some of you like the little morning inspirations, the weekend blues, and sometimes I'll give you a little sneak peek what trouble I'm up to over the weekend. So I'm on a fast, you see. I get so much views when I do a reel just because I got pictures of myself behaving badly sometimes. But yeah, who to tell? I might surprise you over the weekend. But whatever you choose to do, please do it responsibly. Have fun. I love having you here on the show. Please, love you lots. God bless and see you. Talk to you on Monday. Good night.
That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, Cayman, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.